Okay. All right. Thanks for joining today. As I mentioned already, it's going to be a quicker uh, training today, just given the holidays and everything. We had some really good trainings over the last month or so, revolving around the retirement services side. I want to just kind of lay out this, I call it a spider web diagram on just the different value propositions that we bring to the table here at Valor. And then I'm going to go over some things that help me be successful here in the beginning in regards to marketing. Because originally I was not a big marketing guy. It wasn't my primary focus when I was a regional VP. But what I found is that through this process, basically going through the whole setup of going into the independent space, marketing is the most important thing. Um, to kind of just outlay everything that we have here, as all of you know, I have a deep breadth in the insurance industry. I've been doing it for a very, very, very long time, 18 years, and enjoy it quite thoroughly. But what I wanted to do when creating Valor is build out this wonderland of opportunity. So we have backing through us in the insurance side, 30 plus carriers on the life and annuity side. You want it, we got it. I think is the best way to put it. If you have some more like obscure companies, we're not going to carry those like Modern Woodman, things like that. But when you talk about the industry giants, we have no problem here. And I think the best part about that is, once again, we're looking out for the best interest of the client. That's why we're brokers of insurance and not quite the pushers of one or two carriers. So that's a huge value proposition for us. Uh, the big thing too is I know getting into that season for health. So we do have a health line with ACA and Medicare, some pretty solid contracts and setups there. For those who like to build out agencies and structure, we have the ability to allow you to build out a hierarchy in that standpoint as well. But let's be honest, you're fighting over nickels and dollars, not tens of hundreds of dollars and things like that from an override standpoint. It's a long-term money investment. I call it mailbox money versus just thinking about getting like a heap commission, so to speak. But different animal, but another way that you can help your clients. And then the third one that we had was alternative investing. So the reason why I added that to the overall portfolio is it allows us who don't want to get FINRA licensed to step out of that stigma of just being an insurance peddler and into the mark of offering opportunities in different areas, like contractually fixed returns, secured by land, the lender of the money would be on the title. So it gives them a contractually fixed double-digit return with safety and security as well. So that's I would say the three Valor pillars, if you will, from a sales standpoint. But none of these are valuable by themselves, like without having some strong marketing behind it. The newsletters that you guys get, the updates that you guys get on those newsletters, all done by my marketing team. The big thing, though, that we'll focus on today is that. So I'm going to save that for last. When we talk about ancillary products, for example's sake, to kind of complement some of the other things like life insurance sales, we can pivot or position net law for that. Some of you used it in a prior life. We have a contract with them as well to allow you the opportunity to provide wills and trusts for clients from estate planning purposes. And there are several agents on the AIG side or Corebridge side who use that as a way to get the other assets like the life insurance, like the annuities. One of the top producers last year, this was his main way of uncovering assets, was using the net law packages. So if you haven't done that yet, it's about $600 for customers. So you have, a husband, wife, or spouses, I should say, who want to do wills, each of them, as well as living trusts. So kind of like that whole joke of pulling the plug, if someone asked to not be resuscitated. My wife signed that real quick. But nonetheless, things like net law would help you get all that stuff in place. There's a little bit of a perk for you to do that. Same thing with debt relief. So, we think about the other side of the coin. A lot of people, especially during COVID times, business owners might have run into some debt concerns. We have an 800 number that the customer can call in. They can go for the online debt relief program to minimize and reduce that. And ultimately, there's a spiff on your end as a referral partner. I think it's like 1 or 2%. I'm not really looking to make any money off of net law or the debt relief, but I want you guys to have those available opportunities to be a one-stop shop. Same thing with referral partners. I would highly recommend that you, as business professionals, have your own referral partners to basically farm out to. It creates relationships for you in your local community. But if you do not have anybody and you're looking for support or help, some things that we offer here that I'm a big believer in. If you work in the business, if you work in the business area, like B2B space, having resources for payroll or online HR companies for small business owners. So now they have an asset and a resource that they can go to make sure their business runs smoothly and efficiently. We can help them, and in return, they help us because I have a deal with someone at our payroll company where we're going to meet next week and talk to this person, and I have 5 opportunities to do 401k plans with them. They brought on some new people for payroll, and they're switching over from ADP. And now we have the opportunity to bring in that source to start talking about moving to 401ks. So, question came up: does Valor offer those services for business owners? One of the main focuses we have for inside of Valor is support for business owners. So whether you talk about buy, sell, key person, executive bonus, which is usually on the life insurance side, we use life insurance for those value propositions. But we went over all the retirement stuff that we could do last month. So 401ks, set plans, simple plans. We can do 403bs. We can do defined contribution plans, all of that stuff. So through our partners in health, we can even do group life and group health. So I wouldn't recommend it for people who have 10 or less lives in their business because it's not going to be advantageous for them. We would want to focus more on marketplace for like Affordable Care Act and things like that. But yes, great question. Now, some of the tricks of the trade that we talk about for marketing, we have a very great marketing team here at Valor. I partner with some gentlemen called Blue Rocket. Blue Rocket was they were a marketing organization slash insurance company, but they really had more passion when it came to the marketing side. So when it boils down to it, there's several different ways that you're going to be judged by people. Okay, so what you say is what you got. Your word is your bond, so to speak. But how are you in the digital space for marketing? And when I say that, I often talk about really when it boils down to it, your visual footprint. So I have Valor Financial Specialists, but I actually have 2 different websites that we look at for insurance professionals. So those who want to partner with Valor, or for those who are individuals and businesses looking for those type of personal services. So this is the client website. It's more client focused. Meet the founder. Different things that we offer. But then if we go back and we look at, for example's sake, the other site, this one is more for empowering agent success. How can I help you take your game to the next level? So upcoming webinars, workshops, things like that. So when it boils down to it, this is the stuff that if you are looking to build more of that agency setup, we have a plan and a process for that. If you're looking more for the personal side, perfectly fine as well. There are several different ways that you can go to market in this industry, and that's why I love this industry so much. But when you think about this is just one piece. There are things called SEOs. I forget what it stands for, but basically it's how many times are people Googling your website. So as Valor Financial Specialist, if someone puts in Valor Financial inside of Google, is it coming in at the top? So I think it's, I forget the name for SEO. I feel like an idiot, but there's things like that that you always want to make sure that you take advantage of. So that would also include you having an office because Google makes sure you have an office. So right now, thank you. Search engine optimization. Yeah, that works. I'll take it. Even if it's wrong, it sounds right. So I'll take that. But yeah, it's the way you do it is if you have a physical office, it's a great way to get, the 5 stars and everything to really get your business where it needs to be from someone who's looking to Google it. Now, from my standpoint, as I prospect or look for people who want to join the Valor brand, so to speak, I've become very vocal in different social media groups. So it's one thing to really like just post out there saying, hey, the best comps, I've got the best this or that. People aren't really looking for that as much as they used to be. A lot of times now it's more training, partnership, mentorship, and things along those lines. So behind the Iron Curtain, we use a company called Leadbase. Leadbase is a form of high level, and what it does is it helps us from the marketing standpoint touch several different avenues at one time. So if you go and you look at, say, the marketing, and this is the fun part. So, like, you'll see that I have several different Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn's that I can publish them all every single time to kind of let people know, hey, things are going on. And the funny thing is I won't call anybody out, but when I send out newsletters, I can actually see who opens them, who clicks on things, and you get more data so you can figure out whether or not you're being effective with your marketing. But what I know is that from this standpoint, marketing inside of this world, as you're building your brand, you want to make sure that you're present and you want to make sure that you're also just not pontificating, because there's plenty of people out there who do that. So the most times that I've actually gotten responses from social media posts is when I put something up of, like, say, a comparison of a product versus another, but I'll say A versus B because I don't want people to just say, oh, well, I want that product, I'll go get it. I want them to engage in a conversation with me, because if they don't have that conversation, they don't know what we can offer. So if you want to talk about things from a marketing standpoint that I use that help out a lot, Canva. If you do not have Canva, this is probably one of the best things that you could ever purchase. Say it's like $200 a year, but a lot of what we do, see, I even made this today. But a lot of what we do is we build different decks, different training thumbnails. So if I'm doing my YouTube channel, I'll create a thumbnail so it's more appealing, so more people will want to click on it. And I've actually gotten some agents through my YouTube channel because they said they liked the trainings and they wanted to work with me. So there's different ways that you can just go to market, set it and forget it, and then all of a sudden people will eventually see it. So I think this was the one that I sent out. No, it was this one right here. A lot of people questioning, who it is, what we can do. and stuff like that. So if you leave little ticklers out there and just start sending things out, videos appeal to people more than just text. Pictures are better than text, because no one wants to read anymore. But I would highly recommend Canva as a place to start your social media and digital presence. You can even upload your brand. So I have my brand kit for Valor in here. So it'll take, somebody's projects. So let's just say I do um uh let's go and do the spider web diagram. So I just pulled that up. And what happened was is if I wanted to take something and then add my brand to it, all I have to do is go to brand and then click on it, and it'll actually change everything over. So some really cool stuff from that standpoint. If you want to do lives, when it comes to actually doing lives, StreamYard is a great place to go because you can actually do live streams. And what it'll do is it'll ask you, where do you want to actually stream your stuff? So I can do it from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and from Instagram all at the exact same time. Most of that stuff starts to get repeated or viewed as reels and other things. And suddenly people may catch on to something you posted 3 months ago, but it can catch and keep rolling from there. What I've done with some of the pre-recorded stuff, though, and I think this is important too when you talk about reels from Facebook standpoint, from YouTube standpoint. I actually started working with this company called Opus Clip. There's several of these companies out there, but the idea of what this can do is it can take your hour-long presentation, and these are some that I resurrected from my YouTube channel. So like premium finance, infinite banking versus tax-free retirement, my personal why I left AIG and created Valor. So different stuff like that. And then from there, what it'll do is it'll actually take using AI and chunk it up into 35-second clips, minute 24. So now you can post those to the TikTok, you can post it to YouTube for the short, you can post it for Facebook. And now all of a sudden you can take an hour long's worth of content and then chop it up, and then that can deliver more content for you. Matter of fact, which I got to get back to, is you can create a calendar and then you take all that content, let it chunk up, and then spit it out for you so you don't have to constantly monitor it and think about different ways to go to market on the social media side. So if you have that inkling or that ambition to do that, now the question is, once again, and this is where myself, my marketing team, Nathan and Ken, we can all sit down and talk about, okay, are you doing this more for the business side? Like when they say business, I say like I, Phil Resch, want to partner with agents. They have to figure out a strategy and a plan of what to talk about for agents. If you want to do it more for customers, when you think about the consumer side, it's like what is life insurance? What is term insurance? What is IULs, whole life? And you go down and break down those different pieces so then you can create a marketing calendar that spits out information that you can use for years and years and years and years. So from that standpoint, when we think about the marketing piece, there's different ways you can go. So we use a database or a CRM to understand who's actually reading our stuff. Canva to help create these pretty pictures, these decks, these websites, and things like that. And then use the Opus clips to take some of those StreamYards, cut them down, or some of these that I upload to my YouTube, and then really get that back in front of people so you can reuse that information over and over again. Now, on the flip side, as I've mentioned before, for everybody who hasn't seen it, there is the full content here in the YouTube channels. So the retirement trainings, these are, you can subscribe to the At Valor Financial. And if you need some nice sleeping material, you can listen to this monotone voice to rock you to sleep. But we got all different stuff here, trainings, sales ideas. So once again, like I mentioned before, this is what has gotten me some agents to come work with me just by having these trainings up. It's really funny because there's one here, like the first one that I did with like National Life Group, 921 views. Like it's just amazing. So some of the more popular carriers, you'll see bigger views. But yeah, this is a year ago, and I'm still getting people who are watching this video. Ah, so, how do you brand yourself? How do you want to add that value proposition for the long term? And these are just simple, easy, mechanical ways to do it. Um, in regards to other things, like I said, with the lead base, going back to some of the stuff that we do on the marketing side, we can create funnels for you. Before I got onto this side of the fence, the only funnels I knew ended in cakes. But learning about funnels, getting people to respond and go into a specific funnel, it is just amazing the different things you can do from a marketing standpoint. And I don't have it, but my marketing team does have it. They have a thing over here for AI. So AI is starting to really implement in on the marketing stuff as well to allow us to get to more people. And what I will say, this is a cheap way to get decent returns is ChatGPT. So has anyone ever used ChatGPT before? Um, I think this is one of the best things ever. So, like from my standpoint, I was saying to myself, estate planning updates. So this is last year, and it gave me some information. I know this is a little old, so I'll use something a little bit sooner. Let's see what this one is. It can make graphs for you. You can find out what the internal rate of return is. So I had one guy who was adamant. He's like, Phil, do you know what IRR means? I was like, yes, I do. He's like, are you a CPA or are you a are you are you a Series 7 license? I was like, I'm 63. He's like, okay, so you know what IRR is? I was like, yes. And I still didn't really feel like calculating how it came out. So I was like, okay, this guy wants $2.4 million. Basically, if he's getting, 15,132 to give him that $2.4 million over 20 years, what's the IRR for Aspia? And it did the calculation for me and spit it out. So you can use it across various different things. What I also used it for was creating a loan agreement draft. So for the alternative lending, I borrowed money from my house through a HELOC, but I borrowed it using Valor versus Phil personally. And basically, I created a loan agreement with myself and with Valor. So basically, I'm going to get interest, deducted for the business, interest deducted for the HELOC, and some profitability too. But in order to make it legit, I had to create a loan document and it built it out for me. So I've used this for non-disclosures. I've used this for documents like this, but it can really help you move in a quicker pace because everything is moving at a quicker pace. We have to make sure that we're staying on top of things and you have to work smarter, not harder. So that's why I say it's always important to work with a team versus by yourself. Have tools like this at your fingertips that can get you moving in the right direction. And then understanding that if you don't have it, I literally pay these guys to do my marketing for me because I'm not that smart. I've learned some things over the years, but I hang my hat over on the left-hand side and I farm out the opportunities to the other people because when you think about that, I think it was Mark Cuban who said that he doesn't even park his car, he always does valet because the $20 it takes for the valet would put back in his pocket to put towards thinking of ways to making more money. So when you think about it, sometimes you have to give a little to get a higher return. And that's why I say if you are interested in some of the marketing things that we have to offer, feel free to reach out to me, Phil at valorfs.com, and I can get you set up with my marketing guys. Um, I don't really make any money off of that. I'm just saying it because it's helped me brand a lot of this stuff. They came up with the logo for Valor. We used to have a different logo, and this one I think is a little bit more sharp. Colors have come out a lot better, but really that's the main thing I wanted to kind of go over today is marketing. We have a lot of stuff planned for the end of this year as well as coming up next year. What I will say is the end of this year, we're going to have National Life Group come on next week. They're going to talk about their product suite. They are one of our core five carriers in regards to working with certain carriers over others. We have a certain group that we like over others, but doesn't mean all of them are bad and those five are good. It just means it's easier to partner with a smaller group but still have the rest available. So National Life Group is going to come on next week. After that, we're going to do a four-part series on disability, traditional disability, and why you should incorporate that into your practice. Blue collar, white collar individuals. We're going to talk about business type of disability insurance, sales ideas. So when you think about it, it's the gift that keeps on giving because let's say the annual premium is 10 grand. You get 5 grand up front is the typical commission. It's usually 50% of the premium. And then you get renewals at about a 6% clip for the next 10 years. So if you can build up a decent disability book of business, you're now getting strong renewals as you continue to go out and market and farm for other opportunities. So there's different ways, especially if you deal with a higher caliber. When I talk about higher caliber, I'm talking about CPAs, doctors, dentists, attorneys. All of those have either a referral base or they have the need for disability insurance. So we're going to be going through that up until December. What I would say is that we're going to have uh, three trainings in November. So NLG, two DI trainings, and then Thanksgiving. Come back, we'll do two more trainings. Then we'll do a State of the Union for what happened this year with Valor, and more importantly, what's going to happen next year. We have some big plans. We have about 220 agents now. I'm looking to my goal is about 2,500 agents by the end of next year with an aggressive growth strategy. So we'll go over that, and then we'll have the vacation, if you will, and then we'll kick back up January 9th. So if you haven't done your planning for next year, feel free to put time on my calendar if you want to go over it, because like I'm doing it myself. I'm not doing pretty much any traveling except for maybe a couple trips for the end of the year. But the biggest thing now is to prep for what you want to get to next year. How much money do you want to make? How many appointments does that mean? Or how many agents do you have to bring in? How many appointments or how many calls you have to make to get to those appointments, and start working backwards so you can start putting your goals in place for next year. Because I think the big thing to remember is that it's always fun to go out and find different opportunities and different ways to partner with people, but you got to have a plan in place because if you have no plan, that is a plan. It's just a very, very, very bad plan. So with that, like I said, it's Halloween. For those who are celebrating Diwali, happy Diwali, happy Halloween. Would love to just see if anybody has any questions. I can leave it open for a little bit of time. I will turn the recording off. And so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask at this point.